Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. Sort of the next 48 to 72 hours is going to continue to be really quite cold. Got a bit of a lull in the precipitation today, but as we head through Wednesday and Thursday, that rain will be back and it will be heavy in places. However, as we head towards the weekend, the upcoming bank holiday weekend, it is going to be turning warmer. We are going to cut off this northerly flow and we will see warmer air masses move up from the south with higher pressure. So it should start to turn a little bit drier. However, it's not going to be high pressure dominated. We're still going to see areas of instability, and it could mean through the weekend we do start to see the risk of some thunderstorms in places, especially in the UKV today. Saturday is looking like a day of sunshine and pop-up storms, so we'll have a look at that in detail in a minute. As we head into the longer range and look at the GFS, GM, Eastern WF and the ensembles, it continues to look likely that as we head into early May, we're going to generally be average to above average in terms of temperatures, and still very uncertain with rainfall amounts. It's likely to be sort of oscillating between high pressure, low pressure, so a few days of dry weather, a few days of rain. So no massive warm up or dry spell coming, but something a little bit warmer this weekend, perhaps into the 20-degree mark or around the 20-degree mark, and that sort of stays as we head into early May. So, do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you do like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So, if we do start on the live radar, you can see it is a much drier day today in many areas, and that's because we've got a brief area of high pressure, and we've got that northerly wind cut off. We saw some very heavy rain yesterday, torrential rain in places, some hail even, and even a bit of lightning in a few of the heavier pulses of rain in the southeast. So it is much drier today, much brighter, still pretty chilly, but the temperatures are slightly higher with a bit more sunshine around, and of course less thick cloud and rain, so maybe 11 or 12 degrees in the best spots. But still across Scotland we still got a bit of a northerly flow, so still some showers moving in, nothing too heavy, but of course winteriness within these over the higher routes. We just saw a very cold night last night as well, so many areas did wake up to a frost, and that will likely continue the next couple of days before that air mass slowly rises into Thursday. And you can see that weather front across the southwest. This is the beginnings of milder air starting to move in, and as that progresses north and eastwards, it will give rain and cloud and still colder conditions for a time before eventually milder air will move in from the southwest. So do put on the temperatures as of around 2 p.m. So as I said, this morning it was very cold, but today a little bit higher in terms of those temperatures, more around the low teens of 10 to 12 degrees, still below average for the time of year, but much better than yesterday where many areas struggled into the double digits, if not lingering around 8 or 9 degrees under the cloud and rain. Unfortunately, probably tomorrow and into Thursday it will probably go down again. Even though the upper air temperatures do rise, we're going to see thicker cloud and rain move back in, which will sort of counteract that and give cooler conditions once again. So it will continue to be pretty cold the rest of this working week. Perhaps Friday a little bit more sunshine and a little bit warmer temperatures, but still pretty chilly at least through tomorrow and into Thursday before we do turn warmer into the weekend. But as I said, you can see here, a little bit better than yesterday, but still below average for the time of year. Now, if you look at the UKV, look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, if you run through it, you can see that rain starting to spread into the southwest, but making very slow progress through the rest of this afternoon. A few showers further northwards, and generally sort of cloudy with some sunny spells at times. As we head beyond that, there will be a bit of a frost in places tonight where we see clearer skies because there's quite a bit more clouds. It probably will hold those temperatures in the mid to low single digits overnight, so it'll still be a cold night, but not quite as cold as last night. Into tomorrow afternoon, you can see another quite cloudy picture, and because we're starting to see that air mass rise, a bit of instability developing, a few more showers, but again, still generally dry. As we enter Thursday, though, we see a proper break in the upper air temperatures and proper instability moves in with heavy rain for Scotland and Northern Ireland through the morning, and that will turn to snow over the Highlands. And then as we head into the afternoon, heavy rain through most of England and Wales, really quite torrential in places as that does move in. And again, it's accompanied by a much warmer air mass, but because of the heaviness of the rain, the cloud and the surface conditions will still be generally cold. It will be a very cold day on Thursday as this does spread through under that cloud and rain. Into Friday, it should be a little bit better, but still a few showers around. You can start to see a bit of thundery activity through Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. That's because you've got a warm air mass, but still instability around. Again, the air mass isn't ridiculously warm, but it's a good 10 to 15 degrees higher than what it is right now. As we head into Saturday, again on and off showers and could be some sunnier spells at times in the morning, but look at that into the afternoon, heavy thundery showers breaking out in many areas through the Midlands, Northern England, the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. But it will all depend on where we see sunshine. You can see where the showers are popping up is where we've got some brighter spells. It will all be very much pop-up convection-based storms where sunshine heats the air at the ground, rises, and we do get those cumulonimbus clouds. So we'll have to see exactly how it does play out. It will be very much hit and miss, but could be quite a lively day in places through Saturday. Into Sunday, a bit more of a weather front moving in, so it'll cut off most of those thundery showers, a bit more cloud around and general frontal systems. So into Sunday could be a little bit more miserable day, but it doesn't look like a wall of rain. It will be on and off, and it doesn't look too heavy in most places. But we will just have to see how Sunday does play out. Again, it's still 5 days away, so still things can change. Now, if you do look at the upper air temperatures, you'll be able to see how it does shift from being very cold at the moment to something quite a bit milder and warmer towards the weekend. You still see we're good -4 to -5 degrees at Andrew THP quite widely through this afternoon, slowly getting shifted away into tomorrow, but not fully pushed away for most areas apart from perhaps the far southwest of England and of the Republic of Ireland. Most areas still below average in terms of upper air temperatures. Even into Thursday, you can see the upper air temperatures do rise, but I do still think it'll be a pretty chilly day in most areas ahead of the weather front. Behind it, we do see that warmer air from the south could be pretty decent, but ahead of it, across the Midlands, it will be still quite a cold day. We'll have a look at those temperatures, those raw 2-metre temperatures in a minute. Beyond that, as we head into Friday, we do see more of that warmer air move in, especially in the west, and that's why we've got those thundery showers breaking out, and that's the same into Saturday, where there's a generally quite a warm air mass, 5 degrees 8 drift PHPA. It doesn't sound insanely warm, but for this time of year, it's above average, and compared to sort of the -5 to -10 isotherm we have at the moment, it's 10 to 15 degrees above what we have at the moment. And that continues into Sunday as well. So it's likely to be pretty warm through the weekend. We're probably going to hit 20 degrees in quite a few areas, but it will be accompanied by instability, showers, and potentially thunderstorms. Now, if you look at the raw temperatures, you can see through this afternoon many areas around that sort of 9 to 12 degree mark. So still reasonably chilly, but not anywhere near as cold as the last couple of days are. Definitely the thermometer temperatures, but also the feel like. Into tomorrow, you can see overnight temperatures, many areas mid to low single digits, maybe high single digits in a few spots, but still really cold across Scotland where we've got clearer skies. Into tomorrow afternoon, it's still a generally quite chilly day under the cloud and rain. You can see only 6 or 7 degrees through central southern England. Elsewhere, a bit of sunshine, maybe 10 to 13, but again, very much dependent on sunshine amounts. Into Thursday, you can see as we do see that rain spread in, it will be quite cold in the morning, but as it spread in, actually the temperatures do start to rise, but under the rain still perhaps 8 to 11 degrees, again very much dependent on the cloud and rain intensities. So we'll have to see what happens with that, but still probably an average to below average day on Thursday. Not quite as cold as I think it was showing yesterday, but similarly that is still cold. Again, with those upper air temperatures we're seeing in, you'd expect temperatures to be in the 20s with sunshine and no rain. Into Friday, though, you can see a much warmer day. The air mass really taking off widely, mid to high teens for most of England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland, maybe even 19 or 20 degrees in a couple isolated spots. And finally, into Saturday, we start to see those thundery showers break out, but again, widely mid to high teens, and even 20 degrees from the London area, the Midlands, East Anglia, and even into Northern England, and the parts of the Republic of Ireland, and perhaps even Wales there. So quite warm there through Saturday, but of course sparking those thundery showers, and that will be similar into Sunday. However, a bit more cloud and rain around may hold those temperatures down a bit more in a few spots. So you can see quite a bit of contrast over the coming days. It's going to remain fairly unsettled. There'll be some dry weather here or there, especially further northwards and eastwards. But there will be a big change in temperatures from quite cold at the moment and probably for the next day or two before it turns much milder, even warmer into the weekend. But of course that brings the associated risk of higher humidity, more instability and some pop-up thunderstorms. So if you now have a look at the longer range, go to the GFS and see what they're showing over the course of the next couple of weeks. Again, the northerly winds coming in at the moment. High pressure trying to build in over the coming days, introducing milder air from the south. But you see into the weekend, we're not fully under higher pressure, we're kind of in between. And that's going to allow those heavy thundery showers to break out through Saturday and potentially Sunday as well. But Sunday, a bit more of an organised low pressure system there. Again, not a huge low pressure system, but a tiny bit more organised, not just an area of instability. So perhaps more frontal systems, which may cut off the ability for any thundery weather. Beyond that, we do see the high pressure actually build in into next week, so looking much more likely to turn drier. High pressure is a bit further northwards though, so could tap into some cooler air from the north or the east, but a lot drier and probably still quite a bit warmer than this week has been. And that continues all the way into the longer term from the GFS. A bit of an easterly wind there, so could temporarily see colder air masses in from the east, but we're getting into early May now, so that cold air to our east really is becoming non-existent there. You can see the upper air temperatures are chilly for a time, but generally we're under average to above average air masses, and it should be generally mid to high teens, if not getting into the 20 degrees at some point here. So generally GFS is a little bit mixed, as I said, over the next week or so, but as we head into early May, turning more settled with higher pressure building in and temperatures more around the average to slightly above average for the time of year. If you look at the GM now, again, northerly flow coming in at the moment, high pressure trying to build in, but still a bit of instability into the weekend. That's going to allow those showers and thundery weather potentially to take off. Another low pressure system moves through Sunday into Monday. Again, a small low pressure system, but can give thicker cloud and some rain in places before the high pressure system builds in. All the way to day 10, it still continues to build in, but still getting shoved by low pressure out to our southwest, which again could draw up some warm air from the south, but equally bring in instability. So again, this could be a bit of a recipe for more thundery weather. Again, warm air through France and Spain. Again, nothing too ridiculous, but pretty warm and generally instability and lower pressure moving in from the west. So it could be a bit of a thundery, heavier rain spell there, but still under higher pressure at this stage. So we will just have to see what is in store. Again, GFS very much more high pressure dominated. GM still is high pressure dominated, but just introducing a little bit more low pressure there. If we do look at the ECMWF now, again, a northerly wind coming in. High pressure tries to build in, but still a bit of instability through the weekend and into next week, firmly under higher pressure, but still low pressure trying to do incursions from the north, but unequally all the way to day 10, still under high pressure influence, just not a particularly strong high pressure system, and still low pressure trying to tumble in. And again, you look at the upper air temperatures, generally average to above average for the time of year, so probably still be fairly mild, if not quite a bit warmer into early May. And again, still uncertain on the exact precipitation amounts, but perhaps today seeing a bit more of a trend towards higher pressure. If you finish by looking at the ensembles, you can see over the next couple of weeks, generally average to above average in terms of air masses. Again, there are some runs like the GFS operation run where it did build that easterly wind in and goes below average for a period of time, but the majority are average to above average. Areas of precipitation, but equally some patterns of dry weather, perhaps. A good few days there through early May, perhaps indicating a drier period coming there as that high pressure builds in. And beyond that, probably that's uncertainty. So it definitely looks likely to be high pressure building in, but we're not going to see a complete absence of rainfall, especially in the next week or so, later this week, Thursday and Friday, and into the weekend with some thundery weather. So there will be rainfall around, but there will probably will be some good amounts of drier, sunnier weather, perhaps, as we head into early May. Again, if we look at the mean sea level pressure, again, generally higher pressure dominated, especially into early May. Again, we'll have to see what happens as we head towards sort of the 5th to 10th of May, as it does dip a bit. But generally, the next sort of 10 days or so, generally high pressure dominated, apart from later this week, and perhaps into the weekend with a bit more instability with thundery weather. And the 2 metre temperatures are going to be quite a bit warmer. You can see cold over the next sort of 2 or 3 days, and then a big spike up towards the weekend, perhaps getting up towards 20 degrees, maybe a slight dip into early May, but still mid to high teens there. And again, all depend on the exact wind direction and air mass, but generally here showing temperatures that are average to slightly above average, and even, as I said, getting to that 20 degree point. If we look at the ECMWF now, again, look at the midnight run. Again, you can see it's very cold at the moment, but generally, as we enter the longer term, it's average to above average most of the time. A little cluster into around the 1st or 2nd of May of average to slightly below average. And again, that could be associated with a low pressure system moving in there after the weekend that we saw on the operational runs, but majority of ensemble members are average to above average for the foreseeable future. Some dry weather appearing, but equally still some precipitation showing. So no definitive signal, but perhaps today trending a little bit more towards higher pressure. And finally, looking at those 2 metre temperatures, once again, generally around that mid to high teens point, and perhaps touching on 20 degrees. Again, we have to remember, on summer members, not always the most accurate, always a couple of degrees below the high temperature, especially during summer, simply because of little microclimate issues and things like that. They can but give a bump to these temperatures. So here it's showing generally 15, 16, 17 degrees over the next week or so, from around Friday, Saturday onwards, most likely in a few areas to peak around that 19, 20 degree mark, or maybe even slightly higher in a few spots. So it is looking quite a mixed bag over the next week or so. Cold initially, still quite unsettled initially, before turning perhaps dry into next week, but perhaps a thundery, warmer weekend in between that. In the longer term, generally drier and warmer, but there will still be the risk of showers and frontal systems at times, as the models are not 100% sure on this high pressure system dominating. So we will just have to keep you updated what happens over the next few days, next few weeks. So anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure to enjoy your bank holiday weekend. There should be some drier weather around, but equally there could be some big thunderstorms as well. So make sure to stay safe out then. But I'll see you again for another video soon.